The city of Ekurhuleni has made headlines for all the wrong reasons in the past few months. The Madlanga Commission has heard about alleged rot in the Metropolitan Police Department, leading to some suspensions. Well, the mayor is here to answer some of the questions about what we've heard and seen from his city. Mr. Mayor, it's good to have you here. Thank you very much for making time. Let's start with perhaps one of the most difficult periods that your city has seen, the assassinations. The latest victim is Marius van der Merwe. This is a person who appeared before the Madlanga inquiry, although his identity was concealed. But those who have been targeting him clearly knew exactly who he was. Before him, it was Nkosindiphile, who actually worked inside the metro as an auditor. Would you say that your city is fast becoming synonymous with assassinations? That's a very bad reputation.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Olinda. Greetings to the viewers at home. It's holidays. The mayor is supposed to be taking a bit of a rest, just enjoying some football in Tembisa, local talent and all that. But yeah, we have to work. I have to come to the studio and yeah, keep our communities informed about what is it that we're doing. And I also just want to narrate about some of these bad incidents.
Yeah.
We also want to give a report about where do we come from as a city.
Yeah.
And I take pride that in the 1.5 or more of my leadership in the city of Ekurhuleni, I've promised to stabilize council, and I think that we've done. Even motion of no confidence have not succeeded.
Yeah.
We've put up systems for service delivery. People, they know when the lights are off, which button to press, when the potholes and all those frustrations. We take pride with all that. So it's been a journey. And really, this year, we started on a very positive note, attending to some of the wrong things.
Yeah.
Emphasizing renewal message, not just on the political leadership, but in administration, because it is the administrators that do the job.
Yeah.
That must clear, collect waste with a smile, service our people with a smile. Often enough, who gets the beating? It is the mayor, it is the political leadership. That's why the message we had to emphasize, even on administrative leadership. So I can reflect about where do we come from. But we are happy, Koli, that we've been able to release our financial results to the AG well on time.
Yeah.
The quality of those financials are not compromised. Some of the laws and we're hoping that we will get much improved clean audit. In fact, we are still confident that clean audit we're not far from it. Of course, some of these developments, they cast doubt. That is why we have to come here and give our communities the assurances that
Yeah.
the city is still delivering services and all that. And I must say, we regret what is the loss of lives. I don't want to comment much on what is the latest gentleman. Of course, it's something that is happening within the city's environment. But where it involves one of our employees, which was Mr. Nkosindiphile, and we are, we've communicated, with the family, with the communities, with our own, employees, just to give them assurance that, their lives, they actually matter.
Yeah.
And that we do everything in our power to cooperate with the law enforcement to ensure that the perpetrators are brought into book. It's not just that instance. There's been 2 other instances. Just in 2023, there was an attempt on the CFO, who is now been appointed as a city manager, There was also another, a loss of life. One young man who was an adjudicator in the finance department. So we believe that through also this exercise, this Madlanga, which is looking closely at some of the criminality in the justice system, some of these things will get, to be uprooted. And we'll have our communities having faith in their own governments. Importantly, our, employees and everyone else, including the political leadership, they should be able to confront any wrong without fear or favor.
All right. And I'm glad that you've painted this picture, Mr. Mayor, because it makes it easy for me to ask very clear and precise questions. With all of what you have mentioned, in play as well is the issue of tender corruption. The Tembisa Hospital is but one example. How deeply entrenched is the matter of corruption and therefore tying it with the assassinations we are seeing?
Well, I mean, we've got systems. We've over time in Ekurhuleni, and I'm sure across local government. I mean, the metros, they get a lot of scrutiny because of the communities that we service, the size of our budget, the size of our population, but also the impact in terms of the economy. So they are being looked at very closely, and that is why over time we've built robust internal control, internal systems. We've had clean back-to-back clean audit, and this is attributed to some of our past leadership. The era of Mayor Mondli Gungubele, for instance, as a mayor, 2 back-to-back clean audits. The era of Mayor Mzwandile Masina, back-to-back clean audits. Of course, something would have happened, and I don't want to politicize this thing, but 2021 happened, and there were certain changes, and these changes, enabled, some underhand, to happen, enabled a bit of a regress. And as councils, we've been able to take, a leadership. And that is why I'm the third mayor. One mayor was removed, Tanya Campbell, DA from the DA. Another mayor from the minority, which was backed by the EFF, was also removed. And we've been put in place to say, look, we think there has been regress in terms of the control and the systems that we've built over time.
Yeah.
And that is why even that clean audit was actually lost. Now, what we needed to do now is to restore that confidence. I have been here at some point, I think around March, when we preferred consequences. And there's been a pushback. The renewal agenda, very clear in terms of what we want to do, but pushback, it's happening in the boardroom, it's happening on the street, employees being mobilized, to close some of the highways. And we did indicate that, Joel Nyetitenge put it very well, the beneficiaries of state capture will not go down without a fight.
In this case,
we are always saying the beneficiaries of the road, they fight everywhere, they fight on Twitter, they fight on every public platform to try and defocus, the work of cleaning up the city.
On that very point of pushback and your effort to renew, not just at political level, but administratively, when last did you conduct a lifestyle audit on the employees of Ekurhuleni to see whether people are living beyond their means, whether they can justify the positions they have?
We have announced various measures. Amongst the measures that we've announced, and I think we did say that we welcome the Madlanga revelations because they actually assist us. Some of the things that we've been battling with. I have been battling management that has been going astray. And I don't want to go at length, but if you go to some of our interviews, just go back in the past. It's littered with, examples of our efforts to get the systems to run. And where we are, everybody is actually in full support, of our efforts as the leadership.
Yeah. The question is simple, Mr. Mayor. when last did you conduct lifestyle audit of your employees?
No, what we're saying is that we've announced various efforts, and these efforts, they include a commissioner of integrity that we must actually appoint, because it is through those efforts that you are able to set up systems. Remember, in the environment, you don't just say, wake up and say, I want to do an audit. You must put up a system, you must design a policy, must design a framework that must actually be agreed to. At this point in time, we rely on the existing assurance providers. We've got various assurance providers in the environment.
What do they help you with?
Well, to check the controls, to check the environment, if laws, various laws, the legislative are being followed. Importantly, vetting also happens amongst the senior managers. Every senior manager, when we must onboard them, there's a process of various checks that actually happen. But we have to consider, of course, some of these measures within, the permit of the laws, because remember, whatever that you do in the environment, you have to ensure that it is actually legislated. And those are some of the things that we must have to consider. But we must appoint the right body, because currently we've got our own internal audit, which has been very robust. In fact, has been very effective to assist us to ensure that there's corrective measures on some of the revelations from the Madlanga Commission.
All right.
We've got the internal audit committee, the risk management committee. We also subject ourselves to AG and various assurance providers. But if there is a need for additional ones, like this one of lifestyle audit, and I'm sure it's something that once we finalize the appointment of the Commissioner of Integrity, we should be able to conduct those lifestyle audits, in particular on those that are involved in the supply chain and all that. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking you specifics, lifestyle audit, and at the moment it's quite clear that this is not in place in Ekurhuleni. It's because of exactly what you have been referencing, the Madlanga inquiry. The relationship between Julius Mkhwanazi and Kat Matlala. When did you learn of that relationship?
Well, I mean, you mean of the allegations?
The relationship. A relationship existed between the two, clearly, Mr. Mayor. You're talking about measures that have been in place. You're talking about things that are effectively monitoring the work and including the lifestyle
well,
of
the
these
allegations
officials.
of,
but clearly,
the allegations
you
of,
don't have your finger on the pulse. I'm asking you, when did you learn of the relationship between Julius Mkhwanazi and Kat Matlala?
Let's put it differently. The allegations of a use of blue lights illegally. Already in 2023, I was not the mayor at that time, but I've been a councillor in the city of Ekurhuleni. Those issues were in the public domain. And we knew that action is being taken. But the extent of that process remained an administrative process.
Mayor, can I stop you? And this is the reason I'm stopping you. You clearly only learned of the relationship between Julius Mkhwanazi and Kat Matlala at the Madlanga Commission. And yet, you tell us about vetting. Recently, there was a picture of Dr. Imogen Mashazi. This is the former city manager. She was a city manager for a very long time. The clothing that she is said to have worn just on one day, looking at her outfit, at least based on what some of those that know these fashion brands are saying, that one night she wore no less than 3 million rand. on her body. That's why I'm asking you, Mayor. Lifestyle audits, vetting, and I'm putting it to you that none of these are in place in the city, are they?
I'm saying to you, Oli, any form of scrutiny is allowed, but it must be done within the ambit of the existing laws and regulations. Now, that is why we've announced that we're setting up a commissioner of integrity, because there must be the capacity that must guide how you're going to go about conducting those additional scrutiny. One thing that where we come from, that council wants, is that everybody must account. If you are living beyond your means, there must be a form of a scrutiny. But where I am, I do not want to bring the Madlanga Commission into the studio. And I must also, caution the two of us. There's a thin line between us engaging on what is currently, before the commission. Yeah. Because it might be a bit of sub judice, because there's an appropriate body that is currently seized with that work. So I'm saying, as much as we engage with this work, we must be careful so that we do not open another form of a Madlanga in this platform.
All right. Let's therefore wind down the conversation, Mayor. And I'm going to give you the opportunity now to tell the residents of your city what is going to be done to regain confidence, because service delivery, people are complaining left, right, and center in Ekurhuleni. And what I would like to understand from you is specific measures that are going to be taken to make sure that people, the officials of the municipality, are actively monitored to see whether or not they live within their means and, more importantly, delivery of services.
Precisely, it's not about what is it that we're going to do, it's what is it that we're doing. And that is why, long before Madlanga, we've announced that this year, it's a year of renewal in administration. And we've been able to go and prefer consequences where wrong was happening. We spoke about the 2 billion shortfall. We are happy we've been able to prefer consequences. Yeah. And we've now reported back to council and to communities of Ekurhuleni that those systems have now been restored. Proper systems are now in place. We've recovered, we're doing back billing, 1.4 billion of the 2 billion. We've actually done a back billing. 365 million of that money we've actually recovered. And I'm saying, this is what gives confidence to our communities that when you come across a wrong, you are able to act and act decisively. Now, when Madlanga came, already we've been on a clear path, separating a wrong and a right, and acting decisively. And that is why we've welcomed Madlanga revelations, and we've actually made sure that we act. We do not even have to wait, for the first reporting period, which was a day or two ago. We don't have to wait for the finalization of those recommendations. We've set up internal systems. We've put up an investigating process as part of our governance systems to ensure that we act and act decisively. And that goes a long way to restore trust, to give confidence to our communities that indeed the city, this is a city that they know, the city of delivery, the city of good governance, and the city of that is the gateway to Africa and Africa to the world. We are a manufacturing hub of the country, and these are capabilities that we must preserve. And we can only preserve these capabilities if we run a clean government, if we run a delivering government. And I can assure you, that all these systems are resonating well with our communities, and we'll continue to actually improve. We're looking ahead to next year, where we can't afford to sleep. The city must be lit in terms of ensuring that where there is power interruptions, we must be there, communicate to our people. Where there is water leakages, we must attend to those. Where there's sewer blockages, we must attend to those. And that's what gives confidence to our people, and we are certain we are on the right track.
Mayor, thank you very much for making time to talk to us.